I feel like this particular video is probably going to go really badly, but that's probably for the best considering the topic. I recently had a situation in which I tried to explain to somebody the definition and use of 3 different words, and it did not go well. So I wanted to try to explain them here and hopefully do what schools clearly are not doing and actually teaching the truth. So the words that I was trying to explain and was not able to do so were stereotyping, which realistically the word I should have used was profiling, but stereotyping is what's popped out, so that's what I'm going to call it. Stereotyping, prejudice, and racism. Now, as soon as I say that, you guys probably already understand why this video is not going to go well. Because most people cram everything into one conglomerate word, racism / racist, even though racism is a different concept than prejudice, and for a specific reason. So let's start on the not so mean end of the spectrum and work our way to the other end. Stereotyping / profiling. Now, profiling is more of a business term. I first heard it when I worked at Walmart. Profiling basically means that you are looking at somebody and deciding what they're going to do based off of their appearance. Okay, I understand why they don't want you to do that, but at the same time, sometimes profiling is necessary to make a judgment call or make a decision about what you're going to do in order to best serve your company and sometimes keep everyone around you safe. For example, if I see somebody walk into Walmart wearing a really baggy coat, a baseball cap, and the hood of his coat pulled up, but it's not raining outside or super windy or cold, I'm going to be concerned about the possibility of a concealed weapon. Yes, that would be considered profiling. But when it's something that I feel concerned about the safety of myself and other associates, is it really a bad thing to profile? Now, the situation that I was in that prompted the supervisor to tell me not to profile people was there was a very well-known practice of Spanish-speaking men coming into the store and using their tax-exempt information to purchase an excessive number of electronic items that we knew they were then going to resell for however much they would cost with tax added to make a profit on it. Okay. I experienced that 3 times. The third time I experienced it I explained to them that I was not well versed in the procedures for electronic sales and walked away, telling them I was going to get someone over there who could. I then called the managers and told them that there was a Hispanic guy trying to pull the electronics tax exempt scam, and they told me to stop profiling. My response to the supervisor was to inform them, you know that's what they're doing. I know that's what they're doing. So why is it a bad thing if I point out to you the truth? It never got brought up again. Stereotyping and profiling are about the same concept. So let's move on from that to prejudice. Now, prejudice is starting to get a little bit mean. Prejudice is what I refer to as disliking or putting down another person or persons for one reason or another. For example, I could say that I dislike all hearing people because my preference in communication is sign language. That would be me being prejudiced. It's not anyone's fault if they're hearing or non-hearing. And it's not my right to decide if I like or don't like one or the other. Same concept goes the other direction. If hearing people decide they dislike the deaf, or deaf people decide they dislike the hearing, or whatever the case may be. Or, to use a more normal example, if you decide that you just dislike people who speak Spanish because you can't understand what they're saying, and don't ever give the Spanish-speaking person the benefit of a doubt that maybe they just really are not very good at English, or don't ask them, but could you by any chance speak English because I don't understand Spanish, that's you being prejudiced. Now, why is prejudice then different than racism? Prejudice is more all-inclusive. Racism specifically means one race disliking or putting down another race. Prejudice is what people nowadays call racism. For example, if black people dislike white people because black people remember the way that white people treated them in the past, that's prejudice. I have met very few people who do this, but if a white person doesn't like black people, that's prejudice, not racist. It's prejudice. Racism is what Hitler did to the Jews. He disliked Jews. That's a race, not a color. That would be like me deciding that because, and this has nothing to do with Hitler, but that would be like me deciding that because a friend of mine likes to try to use German in order to tease me, that I therefore just dislike Germans. That would be racist. Obviously, that's not the case. But, as an example, so people disliking a skin color is not racist, it's prejudice. You conglomerating everybody into one group is prejudice. You thinking that everyone who looks like this is going to do this is stereotyping. You disliking a people group, for example, the Greeks or Italians, which are Greeks, but anyway, Italians, French, American, Filipino, whatever the case may be, you disliking people in those groups is racist. But you disliking people with blonde hair, you disliking people with darker skin, you disliking people with lighter skin, you disliking people with freckles, fill in the blank with appearance disliking is prejudice, not racism. And hopefully you guys are able to understand the difference. I don't always do a horrifically good job explaining it, and I will see you in the next video, and happy trails.